attention. I found Luis Gallegos, and I asked him to walk me up the catwalk, which is on our way to the Awards 2024. Thank you so much. I want to say, welcome back here. We will be able to hear from him at the closing ceremony. You don't get away without talking to us. So it's the closing ceremony tomorrow, but can you give a big warm round of applause for our Yoda and our dear, very dear friend. Okay, here we are. And I'm out of my yellow lemon suit. Now, I need to say to you and all of those of you online, I'm feeling slightly vulnerable and naked in this dress. I don't really like my legs, I have to be honest, but when an entrepreneur asks another entrepreneur to do something for them, and especially an entrepreneur like Jasmine, there is absolutely no way I was going to say no. I needed to get over myself. So I just want to say, this outfit, sparkly green dress and green velvet jacket, has been provided on the night by the We Dress Collective. That's downstairs in the lobby with all the sparkly dresses, or goonas as I call them. And the We Dress Collective is sort of like the Airbnb for fashion rental platform. So, and what's really important about this, it is inclusive, and it is sustainable, and it is part of the circular economy. And I have to say, I love the commitment, I love the entrepreneurship, I love the fact that it's both good for planet and good for people, all people. So can we give the We Dress Collective of this dress a huge round of applause? Jasmine, where are you? Jasmine, will you stand up? Okay, there she is over there. So we have her. So thank you. And I'm really sorry about my legs. But anyway, moving on. Now, we have some housekeeping here. You'll notice if you're going to come up along this central aisle at any point, we have very neon tape, which is green and pink. Do not walk inside that particular area. I know I just did, but don't do that because we have the camera angle straight on for the awardees. So that's number one. Number two is at the end of our awards ceremony, we have the family photograph. Please do not leave the room. We really want to have all of you as part of the family photo. Our photographer will be up on a ladder. Yes, and we will all be here. So remember, that's going to happen, so you'll hear me belting out photo. So that's what we'll be doing later. Now, to the award ceremony. This is our fullest and biggest room, and it is amazing to see you all. You are, after doing 2 days at the very minimum of connecting with each other and sharing and energizing and speaking and supporting and clapping, and actually just been very present. The energy has been really, really electric. So for you to all be in here today and to support the awardees or the best practices and policies and solutions, I really thank you. It does matter. But for those of you who are not receiving recognition tonight, that does not mean that what you do is not important. So it's just in this moment, we will recognize our awardees, but every single person in this room, part of our network and family, are deeply important. And I'll explain why. So our network of the Zero Project is 10,000 people across the world. And this 10,000 people network has been a very important part, actually, of the awards ceremony and how we get to our very final group of awardees. This is about peer reviewing. This is about us in the community selecting what we believe to be recognized every year. This year we had over 500 nominations, which is extraordinary, biggest number yet. We had 160 shortlisted, and then we went through a peer review which was really rigorous because we want to be able to stand by who we recognize every year. And we selected our final awardees on 3 very important criteria. The number one is it has to have a proven impact. And that's really important. It's not simply an idea, but it must have a proven impact. Number two, it has to be new and innovative. It has to be something we haven't seen before, maybe in that region. It must bring newness and innovation. And three, the most important, it must be scalable, because we want to make sure that what we support, we can scale. And with this community of over 10,000 people, that's the magic. If you heard Carola say it this morning, some of the awardees or some of the organizations that we'll recognize today will be brought into Chile. You've heard SG Enable will be having an event in Singapore, and we bring to Singapore. So you can see that this is the magic of collective action, collecting the dots, sharing with each other. So I also want to give you some big news. We are only very, very short away from 1,000 of these innovative solutions that have been recognized over the past decade, or just over 900, and that is extraordinary. So I just want to thank everybody for every year that's been, and for all the 10,000 people in our network, for all the work of the judges and the peer reviewing, and for the team in our fabulous Zero project. So I'm going to suggest we're going to do this in 3 ways, okay? So this is going to happen. We're going to have a keynote, and then we're going to do a first block of awardees, then a short keynote, and a second block of awardees, and a short keynote, and a third block of awardees. Now, you have a choice. You can clap your hands for every single awardee, or we can wait till the block is done. The room will decide. I won't tell you what to do. But so what we are going to do is, there is nothing better than starting off reminding ourselves why we are here. And it is important in this moment for everybody just to remind ourselves the endless work, the grit and resilience that it takes to create and to sustain an idea, a policy, an innovation, and a practice. It takes a lot of grit, a lot of heart, and a lot of courage. But it's really important. We know it's important, and I think the best way we can open up our ceremony is to ask Sara Minkara, who is a special advisor on international disability rights for the US Department of State, USA, to give us the context, to remind us why we are here, to remind us the importance of our work, to remind us of the importance of every single body taking account for the 1.3 billion people and their families living on this planet. Sara Minkara, you are absolutely so welcome. Can you please put your warm and healthiest applause? Hi, Sara. Right in front of you.
Well, they told me like in 20 minutes. I was sitting there, putting my head against the wall, you know, taking a short, I'm kidding. But anyways, hello everyone. Can everyone just snap for me? If you can. Awesome, okay. Well, I am thrilled to be here. First of all, Carol and Casey, you're amazing. You're an amazing moderator, MC. I think let's all give her a round of applause. Also, I'm just going to do a quick thanks on my end because, you know, I'm just the face, but there's a whole team behind me. A huge thanks to my team, Kara, Yarhan, Andrew Silier, Hannah Nasri, who's with me everywhere, Nisma Zafir. They're the team that are with me. My team, you know, are the ones that really are creating this amazing work. Huge thanks as well to Martin, SL, Michael, Robin, the SL Foundation, and a huge thanks to all of you here in this room. A huge round of applause. So, we're here to talk about impact, innovation, scaling ideas, bringing change to the world. And we are 1.3 billion individuals in this world with disabilities, right? 1.3 billion. By the way, sometimes I give speeches and I forget the word billion. So, and people get confused. We're not 1.3, we're 1.3 billion people with disabilities. But in the past 2 years, and so, in traveling the world, in leading US government foreign policy on disability, where the world is discussing climate action, food security, AI, and so much more. Disability is still very much pigeonholed. We're still seen from a point of let's protect, take care. We're not seen yet fully from a point of we are users of the system in the society. We're not seeing the fact that we will go on a website and buy and purchase and use this e-commerce platform. Or when we talk about care economy, it's not just about persons with disabilities being care receivers, we're also caregivers. So how do we make sure that care economy discussion is inclusive of persons with disabilities? Or when we're talking about supporting minority-owned businesses, it's not just women-owned, but also disabled-owned businesses. When we're talking about trade and breaking down barriers and free trade agreements, how do we ensure that there's provisions specifically for the disability lens? Every single one of you in this room are changing the world. Every single one of you have innovation and impact to scale to the world. How do we break down those barriers, and where do we enter spaces that we are not thought of? Something my team and I have done in the past 2 years within the State Department and beyond. Where should we enter that disability has never been thought of? How do we not only knock on the door, open the door and say, hey, make it accessible for us and bring us in? Because a lot of times I hear the phrase, just bring up a seat up to the table. Sorry, that's not enough, because sometimes it's not even accessible to enter the room for us. And sometimes we're not comfortable bringing our true authentic voice to the table. And our ideas are not valued. So let's actually disrupt those narratives. So my ask of you today, always think of spaces that you haven't thought of and enter. And enter with the fact that you belong and you have value. And my other question is, think about who should be in the room that is not in the room when you're speaking. And how do we ensure the right people are hearing these messages that we need to make sure we're bringing forward? I want to thank every single change maker in this room. I want to thank the SL Foundation. I want to thank Carolyn Casey and my team. And thank you, every single one of you, for really bringing your true, authentic self forward. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. Okay, so here we go. The first block. We have awardees from 1 to 25. Let's take it away. Okay, Wilfred has asked me to continue to talk. Hi, Martin. What do you think of my dress?
Oh, it's amazing.
What do you think of my silver boots?
Oh, and you have very beautiful legs. Don't worry.
Oh my God, Martin. So does this feel like our biggest award ceremony? Because it feels like the energy, certainly in Zero this year, has felt really big, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm so impressed seeing all the 77 innovative approaches so far, and the energy you have spoken. This was really amazing. The talks, the inspiration we received from all of you. Thank you so, so much for being with us, for inspiring us. You are the superstars of the Zero Project Network, and thank you so much for joining us. And we are so happy that Michael and I, we can now start giving you the award.
We just keep talking. Okay, and awards 1 to 25. Woo!
Comunista Tize from Argentina delivers therapeutic and educational support to disabled individuals in isolated and remote areas. The program emphasizes early childhood intervention and assistive device provision, reaching 14 communities and 365 children in 2023. Bridge of Hope runs a project providing pedagogical and psychological support services for children with disabilities within 135 mainstream schools and kindergartens. They offer individualized support, intensive teacher training, and the usage of assistive technologies. In 2022, 550 children with disabilities were enrolled in the program. The Australian Network on Disability launched the Directing Change Scholarship, a 3-year educational program for persons with disabilities to join company boards. The program works by preparing persons with disabilities for directors' jobs and by making directors and boards more disability confident. In 2022, the project received 226 applications and engaged with over 300 company directors. Reach and Match, an Australian-based social enterprise, offers an inclusive, play-based learning program for all children. Their distinctive learning kit comprises sensory mats and Braille print alphabet tiles with sound features. In 2023, it has been used by 35,000 children in 8 countries. Together, Access and Inclusion Training, set up by Youth Disability Advocacy Service, is an online and in-person accessible training program for individuals and organizations working with young people. It is entirely designed and delivered by people with disabilities and centered around storytelling and lived experience. In 2023, the project had 1,647 participants. The Hospital St. John of God Linz is located in Linz, Austria. In 2022 and 2023, the hospital supported 47 refugees with hearing impairments by providing accommodation and counseling, also by organizing German and Austrian Sign Language courses. The Johannes Kepler University, based in Linz, Austria, has designed a curriculum of developmental medicine to train future doctors in the needs and rights of persons with disabilities. This approach ensures that doctors have the skill set to provide adequate medical support to persons with disabilities. Lingvano is an Austrian startup that offers a mobile app to learn sign languages remotely. Students learn American, Austrian, and British Sign Language through instructional videos, quizzes, and features such as a mirror tool or a dictionary. Between 2018 and 2023, Lingvano reached more than 1.3 million users globally. Schulzentrum Ungargasse is a technical high school located in Vienna. The school prioritizes the admission of students with physical and sensory disabilities and provides them with the necessary support to participate in the lessons such as free assistive devices and support teachers. Capable is a website that provides universities and other learning institutes with tools and other resources for disability inclusion in higher education. The website was built specifically for an African context, but it can be used in any country. Between 2021 and 2023, it gained over 30,000 users. The Ministry of Labor and Social Protection of the Republic of Azerbaijan has implemented a reverse system for receiving disability benefits and pensions that eliminates the need for individuals to submit applications or gather paperwork by automatically verifying eligibility and assigning benefits. A large Bangladeshi NGO, launched a veranda school to provide early intervention, early childhood education, and play-based preschool education for children with and without disabilities. The schools operate in a space provided by the community, with young people working as volunteers and parents in charge of teaching. The Joint Emergency Early Childhood Development Support for Ukrainian Refugees project is led by the EASPD, the Association of European Service Providers based in Brussels. In collaboration with UNICEF, EASPD provided emergency early child interventions to over 12,000 Ukrainian children and parents who have been displaced by war. Ugani Prosthetics has developed an innovative workflow to produce affordable prosthetics targeted at persons in low-income countries. Ugani utilizes standard tabletop 3D printers and smartphones as a scanner, which substantially reduces costs compared to regular production methods. Since 2021, Ugani has helped more than 100 patients in 5 countries. Federal University of Paraíba and the Brazilian federal government have developed V-Libras, a sign language translator that is entirely public, free, and open source. Its vocabulary has approximately 21,000 signs and about 100,000 sentences in Portuguese and Brazilian Sign Language. In 2023, V-Libras performed around 3 million translations per month. Instituto Joe Clemente runs the Specialized Educational Assistance Center project. It supports access to regular education for pupils with intellectual disabilities and autism spectrum disorder. SCAC provides learning sessions in well-equipped rooms and uses accessible pedagogical resources. In 2022, SCAC assisted over 320 children and teenagers. Mais Diferenças, a Brazilian NGO based in Sao Paulo, has developed the Inclusive Education Laboratory, a specialized methodology designed for public school educators. It offers a 20-hour course focusing on integrating art into teaching methods, curricula, and activities for students both with and without disabilities. Disability Development Services Program implements community-based inclusive education projects in the rural Pursat province in western Cambodia. It integrates children with disabilities into mainstream schools by improving the accessibility of the facilities and by conducting multi-day capacity building courses for teachers. The Down Syndrome Center in Santiago de Chile has developed a stimulation program for children aged 0 to 6 years with Down syndrome to support their early childhood development. Starting in 2017 with 15 children, the program served 48 children in 2023. The Chilean Institute for the Deaf provides free education to deaf students. Since 2020, the Institute has provided education to about 100 students yearly and has become a national reference center in inclusive education for children who are deaf or hard of hearing. Fundación Biospot Robotica in Bogotá promotes inclusion and breaking down of barriers for children diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, autism, and victims of bullying. They support children from diverse backgrounds and use Lego robotics kits to improve building and planning skills and enhance self-esteem. Fundación ICAL runs a specialized school in which students with and without disabilities study together, using a self-developed model called inverse inclusion. With a particular focus on deaf students, inverse inclusion educates a majority of deaf students with a minority of hearing students in the same classroom. ADED implemented a program in the Uvira region to provide quality, inclusive education to children with disabilities in mainstream schools. It adapted the Inspire to Care model of Nepal's Karuna Foundation, improving the accessibility of facilities, training staff, and organizing self-help groups for parents. MAC Georgia, an NGO in Tbilisi, Georgia, founded Parents Chest during the COVID-19 pandemic to provide education, technical, and peer support to the parents and families of children with disabilities. By 2023, over 2,500 consultations were conducted and many users engaged via the MAC Georgia social media channels. CBM, an international humanitarian organization, and the local NGO Waldorf run an inclusive education project for children with disabilities in refugee camps. They provide adapted learning materials, offer training for teachers, and address the acute nutritional needs of children with and without disabilities.
Thank you so much. Shall we give a big old round of applause for that whole from 1 to 25? Woo, woo, woo! If only you knew the things that Wilfred is saying to me behind the scenes here. Okay, we are going to have our second keynote from America to Croatia. And so I would like to welcome on the stage Sanja Tarczay, President of the Croatian Association of Deafblind Persons, DODIR and WFDB, Croatia. Can you please put a really big round of applause?
Greetings, everyone. My name is Sanja Tarczay. This is my sign name. I'm the president of World Federation of Deafblind Persons as well. And myself, I am a deafblind person too. I want to seize this opportunity first to thank the whole Zero Project's team that invited me to be a guest here today. But special heartfelt thanks to the person who acknowledged the importance of deafblindness is Anna Koenigseder. You all know who she is probably. And also special thanks to Martin Essel for founding the Essel Foundation. I really like and I really love Zero Project's mission. Why? Because their work, their hard work, is always finding solutions and sharing them in order to make lives of persons with disabilities easier, and through education to ensure that every person with disability has a dignified life. I wanted to commence my speech with a quote by one Belgian-French writer, and what she said is very important for inclusive education. Marguerite Yorksener said that our great mistake is that we're trying to exact of each person's values and virtues that they don't have, and we keep on neglecting the cultivations of the ones that they do have. That's why I found it very useful and I found it very resourceful to commence my speech with. I believe that this inclusive education in general is something, the best thing that happens to all of us persons with disabilities. Inclusive education refers to a process of creating classrooms and schools and programs and activities that enable all children to learn and work together, and the ones that need support are in right to have it, which is beautiful. But let's be real, sometimes theory and practice of inclusive education is not always in line with each other. That's why I decided to talk about deafblind children today. Inclusive education of deafblind children is a reality and a realm that we haven't explored sufficiently. So before I start talking about that, I would like to introduce you to deafblindness in general. Many people think it's just deafness plus blindness, but that's not the case. Deafblindness is a specific and distinct disability that arises from combined vision and hearing impairment. And we are a very diverse community, but we share some problems like access to information, communication, mobility, and orientation. There are 0.2 to 2% deafblind persons in a global population, but they are one of the most vulnerable, excluded, and marginalized groups of persons with disabilities, excluded from the excluded. Then you can imagine what's the situation like with deafblind children. We did a research and analysis that you can see on our official webpage of the World Federation of the Deafblind. And in those reports that we made on the global situation of persons with deafblindness, numbers are defeating. Only 7% of deafblind children are enrolled in early childhood education. 20% of deafblind children are enrolled in primary school education, and only 16% of them proceed their education on secondary level. That's an analysis from 36 countries, and it shows a very defeating and a very bad situation. A lot of deafblind children never get the opportunity to go to school because they don't have parental support, or schools decide not to accept them because they have specific and high requirements for inclusion. That's why we can see that deafblind children are very often left behind. Everything is not that bad. There are some examples of good practices. And I would like to state that I am one of the examples of good practices. For example, I had parents who understood and recognized the importance of communication very early. And also, I had a teacher in my elementary school who had very creative ways on ensuring my inclusion and making materials accessible for me. And one of my great life mentors, who I'm forever grateful to, is Dr. Đurđica Karlić, that inspired me to finish my BA, MA, and finally PhD. It's not enough only to identify the problem that deafblind children have. It's important to recognize it earlier. Assistive technology is important, but deafblind persons and deafblind children need experts who know how to work with them, who know how to give them the adequate support that they need in order to thrive and to succeed. That's why I'm here today. We all here in this room have the power to do the world a favor and to do a world a better place for everyone and not leave any child left behind, including the deafblind children. Thanks to initiatives like Zero Project that make possible inclusive education and generally inclusion of persons with disabilities, we should unite our forces and our strengths in order to ensure that every child, but every child, has their place under the sun. We should stop the marginalization and exclusion and include everyone and deafblind children as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanja. Thank you. I think it's important when somebody gets recognized that we just don't wave across the room. And Sanja said she wanted to acknowledge Anna. Anna, will you come up here for a second? Come here. Right? Yeah. I know you're going to be angry with me for doing that, but you know what? First of all, not only just with Sanja, but with so many of us and how much you help us and do things. It's often you just see the one person out here, but it's all the people behind. But I want to know, why did you want to bring Sanja in to be a keynote?
Actually, we met at the last Philea Forum in May 2023, and there was a very nice site visit organized in the very nice sunny city of Split, and there was a little exhibition in a park, and all the local DPOs were having some information exposed, and there we met, and I'm very happy that she's here today. And you see, I'm very touched by that. Thank you. Thank you.
No,
I'm very tired also, so sorry.
it's okay to be emotional. It's okay. But that's love we're giving you, and to say thank you. So a huge thank you to Anna. Honestly, I do think we need to recognize the people behind, right? I think so. Yeah, thank you guys. It's really important. Okay, so we've got our next batch from 26 to 52. Wilfred, is that correct? Okay, let's rock and roll.
ADISA, a Guatemalan NGO, and CBM, an international development organization, launched a program promoting inclusive education through universal design for learning. This program supports students with and without disabilities in preschool and elementary school in Mayan communities. Salva Vita Foundation empowers NEET, youth age 15 to 29, not in education, employment, or training, with a wide spectrum of activities, including animal-assisted therapy, creative art therapy, and other life skill programs. In addition, the foundation provides job coaching and mentorship. Between 2018 and 2022, more than 140 participants were supported. The Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has developed an Indian Sign Language platform to enhance STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, learning accessibility for the deaf community in 2022. The platform offered approximately 250 content and over 100 vocabulary videos. Enable India has developed the Entrepreneurship Development Program to teach skills and crafts to persons with disabilities that they may become self-employed. The EDP collaborates with government-led institutes to develop rural and youth and women entrepreneurs. Between 2013 and 2023, more than 9,000 persons have been trained and 80% are now self-employed. Schools Where All Belong is a project of the Fourth Wave Foundation. It supports children with disabilities in 14 rural districts with school readiness programs, building pilot models that can be replicated by the state and civil society. Until 2023, the project improved access to education for more than 60,000 children. Love for Life Rehabilitation Services offer quality personalized parent-child counseling and early intervention programs for children with special needs as a paid service throughout India. The in-house support is based on a customized plan and includes music, occupational, and speech therapy. Sightsavers India is a national NGO working in the fields of inclusive education and social inclusion. Their project provides accessible ICT devices such as daisy players, mobile phones, laptops loaded with accessible textbooks, and other learning materials to children in remote areas in 8 Indian states. Digital Impact Square, DISC, is an incubation program for startups in the field of assistive technology. AT, it provides skill building, mentoring, and a seed fund to support young innovators with their startups, focusing on various thematic areas, including AT for persons with disabilities. Accessibility Comprehensive Plan for Urban Spaces in Tehran project is operated by Omran Save Engineering Consultants Company. It focuses on identifying, categorizing, and prioritizing accessible routes, assessing sidewalk accessibility, and developing an action plan to improve sidewalks and public spaces. The project's output is available through an online map provided by the Tehran municipality. Israel Elwin and the Bar Ilan University initiated a model that focuses on supporting toddlers with disabilities to reinforce the interaction between parents, caregivers, and the child through video analysis. Between 2020 and 2023, the model improved the lives of over 350 toddlers and their parents. Crimbo Wings, an Israeli youth movement and NGO, has developed a training program for educational teams in kindergartens and young elementary school classes. A detailed teacher's curriculum as well as tools and guidance enabling comprehensive and inclusive courses for young children. The White Hands Chorus Nippon is an inclusive music choir that consists of deaf children, children with visual and intellectual disabilities, as well as children without disabilities. The choir combines a singing group and a gestural group that perform together and express themselves in sign language. WHCN has grown from 35 members in 2017 to 98 members in 2023. Okayama Broadcasting initiated a specific sign language program that teaches deaf interpreters in signing distinctive aspects of motorsports, such as gear shifts and acceleration, which before were not signed and communicated to the Japanese deaf population. Ryobi Systems has created Vsolve, an assistive software for people with color blindness. It allows users to focus on certain areas of a screen and to apply color filters such as red, green, or blue, yellow, thus ensuring better color recognition. Vsolve is globally available for free. The iTeachMe Competence Development Center, based in Kazakhstan, has developed an innovative training methodology based on gamification and mass events. At the end of the training, participants gain a digital profession. Since 2019, more than 90% of the graduates have become successfully employed. Kilimanjaro Blind Trust Africa, based in Nairobi, Kenya, operates in 6 countries in Eastern Africa. They provide assistive devices to pupils and students that are using digital braille and offer user training to teachers and school technicians. Moreover, they supply digital curriculum content and maintenance support. World Vision Malawi started a digital books project offering accessible digital books to support children's literacy. They equipped reading facilitators with devices and training to support 3,500 children, including 90+ children with print, learning, and hearing disabilities. CEDIP, a Mexican NGO, started the Purple App project in 2020. The app aims to prevent gender-based violence, particularly against women with disabilities, using a video call hotline supported by Mexican Sign Language that instantly connects to emergency services. Approximately 25,000 women have used the app. Living Dignity for the Blind, a DPO based in Myanmar, provides decentralized courses and informal training to visually impaired individuals in remote areas of the country. Users with disabilities receive online and in-person training on how to use a multitude of devices and assistive technologies. Upon completion of the courses, persons find jobs in tech-related professions. Provincial government in Nepal and Karuna Foundation, based in the Netherlands, started a disability prevention and rehabilitation program by training teachers, identifying out-of-school children, and improving school accessibility. Since 2008, DPRP has enrolled 1,267 children with disabilities. Hable One is a device that enhances smartphone and tablet accessibility for persons with visual impairments. Connected via Bluetooth, it has tactile feedback buttons and voice-over commands, allowing users to navigate and type without visual aids. It is compatible with iOS and Android devices. The Maple Leaf Early Years Foundation, an NGO based in Nigeria, provides early childhood and elementary education to children from low-income backgrounds, rural areas, and camps for internally displaced persons. In 2023, Maple Leaf operated several transitional learning centers across Nigeria. Save Our Needy organization has launched a project empowering women and girls living in extreme poverty, with disabilities and/or with HIV, as well as survivors of gender-based violence. Participants receive free training in various skills like digital proficiency, entrepreneurship, and leadership. KDSP, a mid-sized NGO based in Karachi, created the Early Preschool Experience program and the Program for Inclusive Education. Both prepare young children with Down syndrome and assist them during the transition to a mainstream preschool or nursery. ESDC, a Palestine-based NGO, has implemented an EU-funded project that focuses on the provision of education in times of crisis and emergencies. Partnering with CBM Christoffel Blindenmission, it has produced video lectures and online classes equipped with sign language and easy language features. BCCDS, a local NGO based in the city of Hebron, runs a program specialized in improving the educational outcomes of students with hearing and visual disabilities in schools located in 19 refugee camps run by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. The IN dashboard was built to collect and analyze data from official government reports and alternative reports of civil society concerning the inclusion of persons with disabilities. It publishes the data, tracks the status of progress, and follows up on recommendations made to various countries.
Okay, and then let's give that group a big, big wow round of applause. Thank you so much to everybody. Woo! Mr. Essel, come here to me. Now, you and I are the fillers for the next bit. So, firstly, I just want to say we've talked about what we've loved about the conference this year and the awards and the energy. But what are you going to do what's the Zero Project going to do between this conference and the next conference? Because this isn't just about 5 days here in Vienna. Tell us what's going to happen over the next year. And ladies and gentlemen, can we just keep it down there for a sec? Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Caroline, for your amazing moderation like every year. You are really doing a brilliant, brilliant job. And give Caroline a real applause. Yes, we try to stay stronger, even more committed, and want to enlarge our network and the power of the work we are doing together. The bigger the Zero Project network is, with more than 10,000 experts and organizations from 180 countries, the more powerful we are. And therefore, the goal is to concentrate now, after we have done a review, to find out what we can do better, to serve you better, and to be really more supportive than in the past. To concentrate, of course, on the next year's conference. And the topic of the next year's conference will be employment, inclusive employment, ICT solution, and inclusive arts. And you can imagine that the forum will be a little different, because there should be and will be, and hopefully you can help us, Caroline, a lot of businessmen with us, presenting us solutions how to employ persons with disabilities in a normal way, and most successfully. And this is that I'm asking you, please help us to nominate the best concepts throughout the world, and please help us to select the most innovative, most impactful and scalable solutions, and bring them to Austria, to Vienna, into the premises of the United Nations, so that we can learn, discuss, and make a better job, that everyone, no matter if he's or she is has a disability or not, to be really have the chance to be employed. And this is what we really want to do. But on the other hand...
Hold on, I want just to say, This is a big ambition of yours to get the private sector into this room. So this is why it's so important for next year, because you want to see business leadership in this room, right? I know this is a big ask. This is business leadership in this room, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, outside what we want to get business leadership, and that's our call to action for all of us to make sure that we get business leadership in the room. Tell me about the other places the Zero Project is going, because you've got a good few places over the next year. Tell us a few of those.
Next month I will be in Istanbul. I was invited by Sabancı to think about what can we do more intensively of cooperation, and I'm so thankful out of it. Thank you so much. 2 months later, in March, we will be in Santiago de Chile for the very first time, together with the SKU Breme. Thank you, Caroline, for that. And it's in May, in May 7th. In May, the 7th of May, we will have this amazing Zero Project conference, regional conference for Latin America. It is in Spanish, but those guys helped me to be part of it in translating into English. Thank you so much for that. That's really great. And then we had a little rest for some months to start with the nomination process, starting in May, taking place about 6 months, so that we have selected the most important innovations for next year's conference here in the premises of the UN. And Garda Wally told me that she is happy to welcome us next year too. Right. And on the other hand, we will have in September our next regionalization conference that will be in New Delhi together with Youth for Jobs for the second time, and afterwards in Bangalore together with Enable India. And that's not enough. Okay. At the end of the year, we will be in Singapore with SG Enable. Thank you so much for the invitation. Yes.
Okay.
And besides, we have a lot to do. Our goal is, of course, to strengthen our scaling concepts we have developed through the last 5 years. That is, on one hand, the scaling solution system. Okay. This year we have had a change in the organization team with inclusive creation from Norway, from Oslo, and I think they really did a great job. And thank you so much for that big event. We had 12 awardees. Which were strengthened and have the possibility really to spread out their idea pretty fast, with 4 supporters, financial supporters, that is beside the ESSL Foundation and the SKU Breme, GIZ and Atos. And next year, the 5th partner will be Enable India, and that means that we will have the chance not just to support 12 but 15 innovative approaches next year. I think that is amazing and really a good development. And then the next scaling solution, which is even younger, just 2 years of age, we are now performing. We will ask all the attendees, no matter if they are the 21 technology leaders or the guys who are interested in those innovations, what can we do better to even find more partners for the scaling project?
So you're not going to be busy, yeah? No, not busy. No, 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 oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 because, team, okay, well, okay, you can do that.
Yes, and this is only possible because of an amazing team, and therefore please let me give you all my thanks, and I would like you to make a big applause. And this too.
Sorry, Martin, I know you put up with me. You're absolutely right, the team and yourself. Okay, thank you so much. It's going to be a big year. We'll meet everybody back here next year. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the team. Big round of applause. And now we're going to go to our final group from 56 to 77. Let's go.
The Association Hope and Peace, a Peruvian NGO, offers courses to teach Peruvian Sign Language as the first language and written Spanish as the second language to families with deaf children in rural areas. The courses cover topics from basic sign language to communicating in daily situations. Cooperative for Inclusion has developed a model where case managers coordinate the early childhood interventions of 3 ministries, of education, of health, and of labor and social services. In 2021, 154 case managers reached almost 80,000 people, including children and their families. King Abdul Aziz University, based in Jeddah, developed the project We Hear You to improve the Arabic language skills of deaf and hard of hearing students wishing to enroll. Between 2018 and 2023, the admission of deaf and hard of hearing students has grown from 18 to 100 students. Fundación Good Job, a Spanish foundation, provides technological and vocational skills training online to persons with disabilities. By the end of 2022, a total of 518 people have participated in 14 trainings, achieving an employment rate of more than 70%. Fundación Once has created the training program to improve the employability of persons with disabilities in the digital and technological field. The program offers in-person, online, and hybrid training options. Between 2019 and 2023, Por Talento Digital has trained nearly 21,000 persons with disabilities. iRespond, a private company based in Spain, has developed an eye tracking device called Hiru that enables nonverbal individuals with conditions such as cerebral palsy to communicate using their eyes. It is compatible with Windows and Apple iPad operating systems and had over 7,000 users worldwide in 2022. Charm EU Alliance aims to promote mobility, inclusiveness, and competitiveness in the area of European higher education. It focuses on removing barriers for students, participatory processes, staff training, reasonable accommodation, assistive technology, and more. Many tools are provided free of charge. UNICEF's Giving Voice to Every Child supports young children with communication impairments. The project utilizes Seaboard, a free, argumentative, and alternative communication web application that integrates a symbols database with over 20,000 symbols. The program, launched in Bulgaria, Croatia, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Serbia, has benefited more than 3,000 children since 2019. Tanzania provides non-formal education to youth and persons with disabilities since 2013. It uses digital media storytelling and technology to produce educational content in the form of animations, comics, and radio drama. The programs are also shared on YouTube and used in school classes. The Disability Center in Bergama, located in western Turkey, produces tactile educational materials for children with visual impairments. The materials combine different textures, braille writings, and audio signals activated by touch. Since 2018, they have been used by more than 3,000 students. Dadair, an NGO based in Istanbul, runs the nationwide Campus of Colors program, which aims to raise socially responsible leaders among high school and university students, both with and without disabilities. Campus of Colors teaches various skills focused on diversity and inclusion. CSR Ukraine has set up Career Hub Pro, a series of online training courses helping young persons with diverse disabilities to develop their career in copywriting, graphic design, or video editing, and to become self-employed. 2 training programs were organized in 2023 with over 150 young people trained in and outside of Ukraine. The Unified Information System of the Social Sphere is a project implemented by the Ministry of Social Policy in Ukraine. Its main goal is to simplify access to social support for disadvantaged groups, including people with disabilities. It allows for remote registration and receipt of social services by using smartphones. The Cedra Foundation, based in the United Arab Emirates, has created the Learn and Work program to help young people with intellectual disabilities to transition into the workforce. The program provides 6 weeks of hybrid learning to improve digital and communication skills, followed by a 3-month paid internship. Sightsavers, the International Disability Alliance, and a consortium of 11 organizations started an inclusive education initiative in Bangladesh, Kenya, Nepal, Nigeria, and Tanzania. They integrate children with disabilities into mainstream schools by putting regional disabled people's organizations in the middle of operations. The Center for International Disability Advocacy and Diplomacy at St. Cloud State University initiated a graduate leadership certificate for Chinese citizens who are deaf. The students teach Chinese Sign Language and culture to American deaf students, facilitate a summer camp, and produce advocacy video modules. Flow is a Los Angeles-based professional dance company and non-profit organization that employs dancers with and without disabilities. One of its programs, Elementary School Assemblies, consists of 45-minute interactive presentations that combine dance performance and disability inclusion education. A startup company based in New York has developed a smartphone app for users who are deaf or hard of hearing. An AI-driven captioning engine converts audio into highly accurate real-time text and vice versa, enabling an easy conversation between a texting person and a person who is hearing and speaking. Perkins School for the Blind is a large U.S.-based but globally active organization supporting education for children with disabilities. Perkins runs the model program approach to improve inclusive education systematically for children with disabilities in 15 countries across 3 continents. Morphic is an open-source program that provides computer users with easy access to built-in accessibility features and allows them to save preferences and apply them to other computers. Morphic has been installed on over 10,000 computers in schools and libraries and is for free. Sensi has developed an AI-driven technology that converts text into Braille with high accuracy and speed. Sensi makes educational materials accessible for visually impaired individuals and transcribes math textbooks, including equations and diagrams, within hours. Spoon runs a project that combines training with a health app called Count Me In to advocate against malnutrition among children with disabilities. Trained service providers use Count Me In to assess and monitor children's growth, anemia status, and feeding challenges. In 2022, Spoon trained nearly 600 people in 9 countries, primarily in sub-Saharan Africa. UNICEF's Accessible Digital Textbooks initiative provides digital textbooks which include accessibility features such as audio description, sign language, and simple language. The initiative was developed in cooperation with publishers, teachers, disability organizations, technology providers, and ministries of education. By 2023, ADTs have benefited from over 2,500 students globally. Schools United is an inclusive education program run by Special Olympics Latin America, an NGO based in Panama. The program promotes an inclusive environment for children and young people with and without intellectual disabilities through joint participation in sports teams and leadership activities. The Research Center for Inclusion has developed a low-cost training module to increase inclusive education in rural regions. It sets up a hands-on training manual for teachers, introduced an assessment tool for development and evaluation, and has set up a child-friendly support unit within each school.
And that, my friends, wraps up the 2024 Zero Project Awards. Can we all give a monumental shout out to yourselves, to everyone, to the tech team, to the Zero Project team, to our translators. Woo! And it's 7:30, we did it. Okay, so it's 7:30. Could you put on some music there for us? Because our lovely photographer, come up here, Mr. Photographer, come here. I think this man has probably worked just as hard as everybody else in the room. Now tell us, for our family photograph, what is it you want us to do?
Everything. The more.
Yeah? The more
No, I figured out the tagline for this event.
Okay.
From a photography point of view.
Okay, first of all, what is your name? You tell people what your name is.
Rupert is my name. Hi.
Rupert. Rupert, first of all, thank you for all of your photography and your patience. I mean, honestly, Rupert is amazing. Okay, Rupert, what is the tagline?
More diverse, more beautiful. I love photographing here. It's so amazing.
Say that again?
I love photographing here. And the tagline that we come up with is more diverse, more beautiful.
Yes, Rupert.
Yes, it is.
We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Let's get me up on the ladder.
So Rupert's going to get on the ladder, and Rupert, you want everybody up here, is that correct? Sitting, standing, what do we do? Just
All over the place.
He wants us all over the place. So let that music get on and everybody get up here. We want you in the photograph. Let's make this the biggest photograph. Be back in the room tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Dinner is downstairs. You're fantastic. Over and out. Please put some music